Hello, hello, hello. My goal is to talk to you about some of the things that happened in 1997 when Dad was 49 years of age. I'm sure that you will probably remember some of these things, but I hope not all. So I hope to get you to reflect and hear some things that maybe you knew about, but maybe have just kind of stored in the back of your mind, but also to give you some fun facts. So, in 1997, the President of the United States, of course, was none other than William Jefferson Clinton, better known as Bill Clinton, aka America's first black-like president of the United States. Some things that happened in 1997 were scientists cloned the very first sheep, known as Dolly, making this the very first mammal to ever be cloned. So on a personal level, let me just kind of talk to you about some things that happened in 1997 that are personal. So 1997 marked the 20th year, Dad, it marked the 20th year of your 40-year tenure as pastor of Fairfield Baptist Church. It also marked the 22nd anniversary of you and Mom's blissful marriage. And let me just kind of tell you where we were as children in 1997. The baby, Shani, the baby of us all, was only in the 3rd grade. Dira was in the 7th grade. Oya was in the 10th grade. Sabu was completing his senior year, getting ready to go to Morris Brown College. Nzinga was completing her sophomore year at Clark Atlanta University. And I had just recently graduated from University of Georgia with my master's degree and was in the world of work at that time. And so we just want you to take these little nuggets and these little reminders and just kind of reflect on them and just know that these are just a portion of the things that we could come up with in 1997. Now, there are just 2 other things that I'm going to mention that happened in 1997 that I think you're proud of and that I can take some of the credit for. And the first one is you completed your first successful year of being a father-in-law. And you did that to your one and only, as you say, your favorite daughter-in-law. So I feel like I had a little something to do with that. And then last but certainly not least, your firstborn grandchild, I should say, was conceived in 1997. And I had a little something to do with that too. So happy birthday, man. We love you. We love you. We love you. Take care.
Happy birthday, Dad. When you were my age, 42, the year was 1992. Here are a few historical facts on that year. The average cost of gas was $1.02. George H.W. Bush was the president. That was also the year that Hurricane Andrew hit. Some of the top movies were Lethal Weapon 3, Aladdin, Sister Act, and The Bodyguard. The top R&B group was Boyz II Men, and their song was End of the Road. Some of the top television shows: Law & Order, America's Funniest Home Videos, The Oprah Show, and Matlock. The average cost of a car was $16,950. The average cost of a home was $122,000. The average cost of bacon was $1.92. The top gospel artist of that year was John P. Key, and his album was Walk by Faith. I was in the 6th grade at Salem Middle School, and that was also the year that you preached a sermon entitled, "The Harvest is Plentiful." Maybe you should redo that sermon again. All right? Happy birthday.
The year that my dad was my age was 1991. He was a young 43. I was a young 13, a freshman in high school, trying to figure it out. Gas was like $1.10. We had Gulf War talks and things happening. We had the Bill Clinton train being developed. He was not yet president, but that's when they kind of started at the end of 91. They were starting that train and that momentum. So those are fun facts or histories, right? History. But what's important to me is, as a young 13-year-old, I saw my dad being himself. I saw my dad dressing out the box with a tie that he never tucked in a knot. I saw my dad wearing hats with the feather. I saw my dad being himself, unapologetic. I saw my dad being Micheal, Micheal. And I saw my hero. I see him still to this day. I am grateful for everything that he has done, that he is doing. I'm grateful for even him imparting in me a sense of fashion, right? If it doesn't match, it matches. But even beyond that, if you walk in confidence in who you are and whose you are, nothing can stop you. So my hat's off to my father for 72 years. I wish you many, many more years. I'm grateful to God. Happy birthday.
Wow. So when my dad was 39 like me, it was 1987. I had already been born, so you know his life had immediately improved. He had been married to Mom for 17 years, still working for Kraft Foods while pastoring part-time, and 5 out of the 6 of us had been born. That year, gas was 89 cents a gallon. Bacon? $1.80 a pound. A new house could be bought for $44,000. Maybe because of the stock market crash, the 508-point drop. Ronald Reagan was president, and RESPECT, Aretha Franklin was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Doom, 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 doom.
The year was 1984, and you were 36. Michael Jackson had just thrilled the world with the #1 album. Tina Turner asked what's love got to do with it. Bread was 71 cents. You purchased a car for a little over $6,000. But your most important accomplishment in 1984 was bringing forth to the world a queen on May 2nd.
It was 1980, a very, very long time ago. But that's when my father, Micheal Benton, was my age. At the time, Jimmy Carter was the president, but would soon be defeated by the former California governor and actor Ronald Reagan. The Pittsburgh Steelers won their 4th Super Bowl title in Super Bowl 14 against the Los Angeles Rams, and the Philadelphia Phillies won their first World Series title against the Kansas City Royals. At the time, Pac-Man was just released, as well as the cable news network known as CNN was launched. Unemployment was at an all-time high of 7.8%. Minimum wage was at $3.10. A loaf of bread was 50 cents. And if you wanted to go to the movies, it'll cost you about $2.69. Now, if you wanted to be fancy and buy yourself a brand new 1980 car, it was going to set you back about $7,000. And gas was going to cost you about 90 cents a gallon. At the time, my father had been married to my beautiful mother for 5 years. He was still working at Kraft and had been pastoring here at Fairfield for 3 years. My oldest brother Keith was 9 years old, my sister Nzinga was 3, and my brother Johannes was 2. Now Oya, Dira, and myself, we were 0. So if any of these facts are untrue, don't blame me, blame Google, because I wasn't even there. But anyway, happy birthday, Daddy.
Papa, when you were my age, the year was 1970, known for bell-bottom pants and disco. President Nixon signed the Voting Rights Act Amendment, which lowered the voting age to 18. Jimmy Carter was elected governor of Georgia. The first episode of All My Children aired. Diana Ross and the Supremes performed their farewell concert. Jimi Hendrix dies. The Flip Wilson Show debuts. The Chevrolet Vega and Ford Pinto is introduced. The North Tower of the World Trade Center is declared the tallest building in the world. The Sony Walkman was the iPod of the day. The average cost of a new house was $23,450. The average income per year was $9,400, and the average monthly rent was $140, and the cost of a gallon of gas was 36 cents. Lastly, in 1970, you were living your best life, single, free, and childless.
Papa, when you were my age, the Celtics was defeated by the Lakers in the NBA championship. The Green Bay Packers actually went on to win their second Super Bowl title in a row. 1968 was also the year that civil rights movement was at its peak. President Lyndon B. Johnson actually signed the Civil Rights Movement Act, the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Two U.S. athletes, Tommy Smith and John Carlos, they had planned a silent protest during the Olympics in Mexico City. They did it by holding their fist up during the national anthem. Star Trek aired its first interracial kiss on live television. Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis. The top Billboard song was I Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye. The Detroit Tigers beat the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. Finally, I believe in 1968, you were drafted in the U.S. Army only to be medically discharged by asthma.
It was 1963, and you were 15 years old, just like me. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. Everybody was in a heat wave. Bread was 22 cents, gas was 29 cents. But most importantly, you had hair. And it was all over. This is the part. It was black.
Can you believe how long ago it was when my papa was just 10 years old? Ancient times, am I right? The year was 1958. During this year, a brand new Oldsmobile could be bought for $29,000. A new house would cost $12,750. Gas was 25 cents a gallon. President Ike signed off the creation of NASA, so the U.S. launched its first satellite, and most importantly, super glue was created. Oh yeah, bacon was still 60 cents a pound. Oh, I almost forgot. My papa was still chasing my grandmother around as she was still running and hiding, and he was still jumping, saying, "I see you, girl."
The year was 1957, and my papa was 9. I'm sure he was excited because he only had one more year in his single digits. Many things happened that year, like the first satellite was launched by the Soviet Union, the first frisbee was created, gas was only 24 cents per gallon, a pair of kid shoes were $5.95, bacon was still 60 cents a pound, Lionel Richie was super popular. Oh yeah, my papa was probably chasing my grandma after church and she was running to hide in her dad's car.